Good morning, friends. Today, our topic is how to read and what to read in the balance sheet and the annual report of the company. And myself, Professor Mehta, going to present wide comprehensive understanding about what to read in the balance sheet or the annual report of the company. Okay. Now, the prerequisite of this particular session is as a student, you should have a thorough knowledge about the contents of the balance sheet of the company and the annual report of the company. Okay. And apart from this, in addition to this one, uh, you are expected to have a uh, comprehensive 360-degree understanding about different ratios which are there uh, as techniques which that are used to understand and analyze the balance sheet of the company, that is called as financial statement analysis. So ratio analysis and its knowledge is a prerequisite for example. So there are so many ratios which are used or employed to analyze the balance sheet of the company. For example, we have current liquidity ratio, profitability ratio, solvency ratio, turnover ratio, activity ratio, and capital market ratios. So, as a student, to understand how to read the balance sheet of the company, you should have knowledge about all these ratios, without which it will be miserable to understand. It will be very difficult to understand. So, all these ratios knowledge about it is a prerequisite, and we have uploaded on YouTube all the stuff and material related to videos related to all the ratios, so one can view and understand different ratios like liquidity ratio, solvency ratio, profitability ratio, and capital market ratios, and turnover ratios, and activity ratios. Okay, now the agenda for the day is let's read out the agenda and then we'll go forward and understand it. Now, the first is how to read and what to read in the balance sheet of the company. How to read and what to read in the balance sheet of the company. How to identify a good stock. So, the first 10-15 slides will be dedicated or devoted for understanding how to identify a good stock or a share or a equity share for long-term investment. Now, when I'm talking about long-term investment, the long-term investment can be for 1 year to infinite period of time. Now, the question arises: if I'm investing in the stock market or in a particular share or a script, we call it, or in a equity share capital for an infinite period of time, what is the advantage or what is the benefit? So please remember, if you are choosing a very good company for a long-term investment, every year the company is going to give out of its profit generated or earned dividend. This is called as dividend per share. And apart from this, if you have chosen a very good company, there is a wealth maximization in the sense that the capital will be appreciated, or going to appreciate, or the market price is going to appreciate, and probably the company is going to declare bonus, special dividend, and regular dividends. So we'll look at what are the in the subsequent slides we are going to talk about what are the different benefits of investing in the company in the long term perspective for a long term investment, and we are going to understand the meaning of the word wealth maximization. And last, we are going to talk about this particular session is going to talk about various concepts which are related to the study. So here the question arises: why? What made me to choose these companies? Okay, there are three primarily companies which I have chosen for our understanding. One is Suzlon, one is Navin Fluorine, and one is uh, SRF Limited. And we are looking at what are the kind of returns these companies have generated over a period of time. Apart from this, but we have chosen so very good number of good number of companies for understanding the balance sheet of the company, how to read the balance sheet of the company. So let's move ahead. The first question arises, first factor, as I've already told that the session is going to talk about how to invest in the stock market, what to look to invest in the in the stock market. As I've told, so let's see one by one. So the first one is how old is the company? How old is the company? How old is the company? So you have to look the age of the company. If the age of the company, for me, and from my understanding about the stock market, um, for my understanding about the stock market, uh, the age of the company matters a lot. A lot. The age of a company matters a lot in the sense that The more the age of the company is, then uh, it's a very good if the age is very high, then the company is worthwhile to be invested. So look at this particular factor. For example, company like Reliance Industries, it's almost 40 years plus, 40 years plus. So these are companies which are established, which have their prominence. They are the market leaders. They are the market leaders. They are. You can look at the balance sheet of the company for 5-10 years and understand how the company is doing the last 10 years or 5 years, how the sales is increasing, how the profit is increasing, how the earnings per share is increasing, whether they have paid declared any bonus or not during this 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, what is the increase in this quantum of sales, what is the percentage increase in the sales, profit, and so on and so forth. So the company which are very very old or whose age is very is high, they are considered to be financially very robust, and they can withstand any kind of turmoil in the economy or in the business model. And on top of it, they have diversified into various segments. So there is a basket of investments which they have done. So this is another factor. This is the first factor which you can look upon. So old is the company, good is the company for investment. Next one. The next one is what is the debt equity ratio of the company? What is the equity ratio of the company? So as we have seen, we have understood from our financial ratios, lower should be the debt. Lower should be the debt. Udhari should be very very low. The loan we are taking from bank or from debenture holders or bonds should be low, because if the debt is very high, you have to pay huge amount of interest. You have to pay huge amount of interest, and if you are paying huge amount of interest, uh, you are this is going to eat away the profitability of the company, eat away the profitability of the company, and on top of it, you are obligated to pay or earn that much amount of interest before you reward the shareholders in the form of dividend. So interest should be low, and that's the reason we call it as debt should be low. Look at the balance sheet on the asset side of the liability side of the balance sheet. Look at the debts, and if the debt is on a higher side or the debt equity ratio is not favorable or unfavorable, or debt is more and equity is less, that is the outside borrowings is very high, then it's time to say goodbye to that company in which you have invested. So first and foremost is you have to look at the age of the company, and your next one is the debt of the company. For example, in this particular PPT, I am going to show how the debt has affected the company's profitability on a longer period of time, and how these companies have reported less profit, and then they have the capital. There is a capital erosion, and on top of it, the companies have failed to declare good dividend because the earnings per share is very very low. So debt should be very low, and debt equity ratio should be tilted towards equity, and you should borrow, the company should have borrowed less amount of debt from the bankers and financial institutions. So now after you have seen the debt, now it's very important that one should look at the earnings per share of the company. One should look at the earnings per share of the company. So in my previous videos uh, on the ratio analysis, as I have given a vast understanding, a comprehensive understanding about earnings per share. EPS stands for earnings per share, earnings per share, earnings per share, earnings per share. Now, earnings per share is nothing but, if I translate it in Hindi, it's profit per share. So profit should be profit per share. So profit per share be divided by number of shares. So this should be high. This should be high, and this should be low, because if the profit is divided on larger number of shares, the profit earnings per share will be less, and the same profit is divided among less number of shares, then the profit per share is very high. So earnings per share should be very high, and we have to compare earnings per share with earnings yield, which I would also discussed in my previous videos on on ratio analysis. So you can please visit my YouTube videos and get an comprehensive understanding about debt equity ratio, earnings per share, and its correlation with earnings yield or market price. Okay, so the point here is earnings per share should be very high. The earnings per share should be very high. Then only if the company earnings per share is very high, then only you should invest in that company. If the earnings per share is negative or loss, you should not invest in that company, because eventually the company is not going to pay you dividend. And if you are dependent on dividend for your as a source of income, then you will be deprived of income or a dividend per share, and life becomes miserable. So earnings per share, if the earnings per share is very high, the company's profit is very high, and the company's profit is very high, then only they are going to declare a good or handsome or reasonable amount of dividend. So there is a correlation between earnings per share and dividend per share. So you can look at companies earnings per share. For example, Reliance Industries, what is the earnings per share? Or ICICI Bank, what is the earnings per share? So on and so forth. Okay. Next one. What is the dividend? Next, which the third factor or the fourth factor I will call it is dividend per share. The fourth factor is dividend per share. Dividend per share. Dividend per share. So dividend per share is nothing but dividend total dividend paid by number of shares. So this should be high. This should be high. Dividend should be very high. The other way of calculating dividend per share is equal to. Please remember, I have already shared this material or video on DPS in my videos, in my series of videos on ratio analysis, and they are uploaded on YouTube. You can just watch it. So another way of calculating dividend per share is face value of the company equity share into dividend declared percentage. Dividend declared percentage. For example, if the face value is 10 rupees and MRF, for example, MRF has declared a dividend of 3000 percentage. Example, okay. So it is 300 rupees per share is the dividend declared. So dividend is just like an interest. If you're in, is like a interest you have earned from bank fixed deposit. So if you are investing in fixed deposit, you are going to get interest in the similar fashion. If you are investing in the company's equity share capital, then the company will pay you dividend per share from the profits what they have made during the year. So if the profits are very high and the dividend payout ratio is very high, then dividend payout ratio is one more concept which already we have. This particular ratio has been put on my YouTube video in the series of videos on ratio analysis. So dividend per share should be very high. So what we have seen, age of the company should be good, or plus earnings per share should be good, dividend per share should be good, and debt equity ratio should be very low. And these are the some of the factors as of now we have seen. So age should be high, earnings per share should be high, and if this is high, then this is high, and if this is high, this is going to reduce, because from the earnings per share, from the profit, the company is going to pay off the loan what they have taken, and it is going to reduce the debt, and eventually the interest burden will decrease. So there is a correlation among all these things. So hope you have understood it. Next one is another factor which we have to look into at the time of investing in the stock market is price earnings ratio. Again, I'm reiterating the fact that the price earnings ratio related information is uploaded on my in my previous videos on ratio analysis. For further information and comprehensive understanding about P ratio, please visit to my YouTube, and please go through the videos, and you will get a thorough comprehensive 360-degree understanding about P ratio. But still, as a matter of fact, I will give a small example and then we'll move forward. There is no thumb rule for price earnings ratio, but generally in the stock market, and in particular myself, look, if the P is I will invest in those companies whose P ratio is 6, which range between 6 to 8 and below 6 to 8. Okay, below 6 to 8. If the range is like, for example, price earnings ratio is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6, something like that, and less than 8, it's a very good company. Very good time, I will call it. It's a very good time to invest. If the P ratio is very high, then something it is already peaked out. The price has already peaked out. So that's the way it is to be comprehended. Just a moment. So I will give a small example. With that example, you can understand what is PE ratio and how you can invest in a company based upon the PE ratio. Okay. So PE ratio is nothing but the full form of a PE ratio is price earnings ratio. The full form of a PE ratio is price earnings ratio. Price earnings ratio. Now, what do you mean by price? Market price of equity share, of equity share, of equity share, of equity share divided by earnings per share. So this is a simple understanding. So what, as as a human being and with an element of common sense, the bottom or the denominator is the earnings per share should be high, because everybody on this earth wants the company to make or generate huge amount of profit. So earnings per share should be high, very high. Number one. Number two, market price. Okay. So let's see with a small example and understand it. There are three companies, A, B, and C. Okay, the market price at which this, so Mr. X is there. He went into the market. He purchased one share of all these companies A, B, C. At 300 rupees, this company share at 300 rupees, and this company share at 300 rupees. So each share was trading around 300 rupees of ABC, and he is purchasing one share per company. And after 1 year, or the company has reported a earnings per share of here 60 rupees. Here the company has, in this case, has reported a earnings per share of 100 rupees, and here they have reported a earnings per share of 150 rupees per share. So here if you this the earnings is very high. Here the earnings are average, and it is somewhat low in comparison with the other companies. So if you look at this data, you will eventually come to know here that you are going to get back your amount in 2 years. Here you are going to get back the amount invested of 300 rupees in 3 years, and here you are going to get back in 5 years. This is we call it as payback period in our capital budgeting, but the same concept can be even used in case of price earnings ratio. So here, if you look, this is the best company, number one company, this is number two company, and this is number three company. Why? Because we have employed common sense. So this common sense is translated into price earnings ratio. Now let's look at the price earnings ratio. Now price earnings ratio of ABC are like this. The price earnings ratio of ABC is like this. So if you look at the price earnings ratio, it's like this. Just now I've calculated. In the first case, it is 300 and 300 and 120 if I am correct, and 300 and 150. So price earnings ratio, the formula is in front of you. This is the formula. The same formula is applied here. You will get 5 price earnings ratio, and this you will get around 2.5, and this you will get as 2. So lower the price earnings ratio, best is the company for investment. This is the simple understanding about price earnings ratio. Hope you have understood it. So please employ uh, this kind of techniques to find out whether to invest or not to invest in a particular company. Next one. Next one is what is the next we are going to talk about the topic related to market price to book value of the company. Again, I'm reiterating the fact that this particular ratio has been already covered in my previous series of videos on ratio analysis, and they are uploaded on the YouTube. You just please requesting you to go through it and understand it. But as a matter of fact, I'm just again going to recover and for your understanding purpose. Okay. Okay. There are three companies ABC. There are three companies ABC. The book value per share of this company are like this. The book value of the company, book value is nothing but the inherent value of the company. The inherent value of the company's share. Inherent value means innate. So here the book value is 300. The book value per share is 300. Here also 300, and here also it is 300. Now market price. Let's understand the market price. The market price. The market price is 3,000 rupees in this case. Okay, in this case it is 300 rupees, and in this case it is 30 rupees. Okay, so as shown here, there is no thumb rule for market price to book value. But as an investor, generally before investing, I generally look at the book value, market price to book value, and if it's 1.5 and and more or above, it is good for investment. Let's see. So the look at this example. The inherent value or the inner value of this share is 300. In this company also, the inner value of the company's share is 300, and in this case also it is 300. See, there can be various reasons why the market price of the share can be like this. So we will not go into this, but we are understanding the concept of price to book value. In this case, 300 divided by 30 means what? 300 rupees worth price is available in the market at 30 rupees, and it is under valuation value. In this case, 300 rupees worth the share is available at 300 itself. So it is optimally valued means the market price is equal to the book value. In this case, the price is 3000 and the book value is 300. Means what? 300 rupees worth of share is available in the market, and if you want to purchase it right now, it is available at 3000 rupees. So it is very overvalued or very expensive. Overvalued or overvalued. This is undervalued. This is undervalued. So, as a matter of fact, if I calculate book value, price to book value, market price to book value, in this case it is 10 times. In this case it is one time, and it is in this case it is 300 divided by is equal to is 300. Sorry, market price is 30. 30 divided by 300 is equal to 0.1. So as I have told, this is an undervalued company. The scope for appreciation is very high, and the probability attached to it is also very high. So this is to be taken for investment purpose, because this is overvalued and the price to book value is 10 times. So it is overvalued. It is optimally valued and it is undervalued. So less is the market price to book value, and you have to invest in this company. Hope you have understood it. Next one. Apart from the various factors just now we have seen, like earnings per share, dividend per share, debt equity ratio, age of the company, price to book value, price to earnings. There are some other elements like what are the investments the company has made in the subsidiary companies or in other companies. For example, if you look at a company like Kirloskar Industries Limited, if you look at a company like Kirloskar Industries Limited. Okay, Kirloskar Industries Limited has has almost got 600 crores investment in various subsidiaries or group companies like Swaraj Engines, uh, Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited, Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited, Kirloskar Ferrous Limited, Kirloskar Iron and Ferrous Limited, and there are so many other. And the worth of these investments are 600 crores. So the company is sitting on a cash of 600 crores, because at any given period of time they can dispose of, divest these shares, investment in these subsidiary companies or group companies, and convert it into cash. So they are well considered to be very good companies. So I have covered some examples in the later part of my session. So we will comprehensively talk about all these things in detail. Uh, So, so this is the meaning of the word. The company has made investments in subsidiary companies. For example, there is a company by name. There is a company by name. There is a company by name. I will give you some companies like Dhanushri Ventures Limited. Dhanushri Ventures Limited. Dhanushri Ventures Limited. The company has invested in blue chip companies, and the worth of this investment is some 300 crores. 300 crores. Another company by name Hinduja Ventures Limited, Hinduja Ventures Limited, or which is now called as Next Digital, Digital, has invested in very so many subsidiaries and group companies whose worth is some 25 4,500 crores. So These are very very strong companies because they can be whenever there is a problem they can sell off a part of the investment and convert into cash. And apart from this, because of this investment in subsidiaries and group companies and other companies, their income is there is other income for these companies apart from the regular income, which is called as dividend from these investments, which is called as non-operating income from these investments. So look at these companies. So I have given one example like Dhanshri Ventures, Hinduja Ventures, Next Digital, Dhansuri Investments Limited is another company. You can explore this also. Another company is there by name Andhra Sugar Limited, Andhra Sugar Limited, Andhra Sugar Limited. So many companies are there like this. So not only that you have to just look at the assets of the company, but rather you have to look at the investments of this company. And one more important thing which I want to highlight here over this place is very very important. I'll just give you an understanding about how to uh, convert them into some meaningful numerical data. Just I will give a small example. With this you will understand it. So what is that? I'll give a small example, and you can look for yourself how beautiful this concept is and how badly this concept is been ignored by people at large. By people at large. So just an example. Just an example. For example, there is a company, as I've already told, that there is a company by name Next Digital. Next Digital. Okay, Next Digital. Very important concept. Please pay attention. Next Digital. Okay, Next Digital. This company has invested in subsidiaries and other company and related companies, group companies, and for example, IndusInd Bank. They have invested in IndusInd Bank. Some X number of shares they have got, and the market price is some X, and the total investment is some X crores. Okay, they have invested in other subsidiaries like for media and communication company. They have invested whose worth is some 3,600 crores. Okay, now what I can do, it is there on the balance sheet asset side of the company, or you can do a in-depth understanding or research, and you can get the value of these investments. Okay, now the value of these investments is 4,500 crores. 4,500 crores. Now how to convert it into an meaningful understanding whether how the company is being valued or perceived in the stock market. Okay, so for that reason what I am going to do here, 4,500 crores is the total value of these investments. Okay. Now I have to divide it by the equity share capital of the company, which is around 20 crores. 20 crores. Okay. So is equal to 4,500 crores divided by 20 crores is equal to roughly around 2, 2, 2, 5. 225 into you have to multiply it with the face value of 10 rupees. The face value of this company is 225. The face value of this company is 10 rupees. So you will get a figure called as 2250. This is called as per share value of the investment. Per share value of the investment. The per share value of the investment is 2250. And please remember, please acknowledge the fact that this particular share is available in the market today. When I am uploading, it's around 650 rupees. 650 rupees. And today's date is 24th August 2020. So what does it mean? The value of only the investments is 2,250 rupees per share, but the price is available. The market price is available. The market price at which this particular share is traded is 650 rupees. So how undervalued this company, and people don't look at the balance sheet, and they have disregard for this kind of investments. So just only the investment, if I'm calculating the value of this investment is 2,250 50 rupees per share, and the price is 650 rupees. So how undervalued this, and how important this concept called as what are the investments the company has made in other companies. Hope you have understood this, the importance of evaluating or valuating the subsidiary companies and other related group companies investment. Next one. Next one is special dividend. Now there are so many companies on the stock market, in the Indian stock market, which have declared uh, uh, exorbitant, mind-blowing special dividends. So, for example, Navin Fluorine in the year 2010, Navin Fluorine. Next one is Clariant Chemicals. Next one is Clariant Chemicals. Clariant Chemicals. There are so many companies, but from my research, I came to know about these companies. There is another company by name Elentas Beck. Elentas Beck. Elentas Beck. Elentas Beck. Okay. So special dividend is nothing but it's a lump sum and a very handsome dividend, I will call it. And this is paid out of the reserves and surplus of the company. Reserves and surplus of the company. Number one. Number two, this is possible only when the company is having cash reserves. Cash reserves are a huge amount of liquidity in the balance sheet of the company. Okay, so the company which is having huge cash reserves, number one. Number two, who is sitting on liquidity investments like cash, bank balance, and investment, short-term investments in mutual funds and other areas. Just now I told you about subsidiary companies and others. So these companies in a formidable position to declare special dividend, and some companies which are considered to be very good companies, and they are the well-wishers of this, the shareholders of the company. They keep on declaring special dividend once in at least 5 to 10 years. Okay, so some of them, as I already told, Navin Fluorine, Clariant Chemicals, Allender's Beck, and many others. Okay, so what does it indicate? A company which is paying special dividend indicates that the company has huge cash reserves. Number one, because of this reason only they are able to pay good amount of dividend. Number one. Number two is consistently making profits, and then uh, there is the progress. There is a progress or growth in the company's sales, company's profitability, company's earnings per share. The reserves and surplus are also increasing, and because of these two reasons they are sitting on huge amount of cash, and today they are declaring huge good amount of dividend per share, and as a special dividend they are rewarding the shareholders of the company. So this is the indication that the company is sitting on a huge cash reserve, the company is making huge amount of profits, and they want to reward the shareholder. The intentions are very beautiful. The company has got a bona fide intention of rewarding the shareholders of the company. See, some companies make profit, but they give negligible or nominal amount of dividend. But there are some companies whose earnings per share are 40 rupees, and the dividend payout is 38 rupees. Okay, so these are all considered to be companies they want to reward the shareholders of the company. They want to take care of the shareholders of the company. They want to be loyal to the shareholders of the company. And this finally indicates that the company is a very good corporate governance company. So one of the elements is the company can be a very good company, but they don't declare dividend or they don't report earnings appropriately. So they are not good corporate governance. But if this is the situation, the company is considered to be a very good company, and they are well wishers of the company, well wishers of shareholders of the company, and they are maintaining corporate ethics and culture. Next one is very important. So the equity shareholding percentage, the equity shareholding percentage of the following entities. So see, for example, so you have to look at this one also, like how much is the stake the promoters or the owners of the company are holding in the company. For example, X company is there. The equity share capital is some 65 lakh shares, 65 lakh shares, and the owners are holding some 70% of the total equity share capital. Y company is there. The total share capital is 65 lakhs, and they are holding only 10% of they are holding only 10% of the they are holding only 10% of the equity share capital. They are holding only 10% of the equity share capital. Means what here? Only 10, in this case, 70% is of the shares are held by the owners or the promoters of the company. In this case, only 10%. Here they are very confident about the company's business model and future. Here they are not confident about the future, and there is an element of doubt. And apart from this, you have to look at FII holdings, mutual fund holdings, and LIC holdings. So FIIs are holding in the having a stake in the company's equity share capital, and LIC along with mutual fund companies having stake in the company be a good company. Some companies are there where almost 75% of shares are held by all these three entities, whereas in other companies, very badly managed companies, only 20% is held by all these three, and the remaining 80% is floating. We call it as floating. So ignore these companies. If promoters holding, FI holdings, and LIC holding, mutual fund holding is very high, then the company is said to be a very good company. Next one, buyback of shares. So another factor which you have to look into the company is whether the company is coming out with a buyback of its own shares from time to time or not. So many companies are there which came out with buyback. For example, I will tell you some of the companies which have come out with a buyback scheme. For example, Polyplex is one company is there which has come out with the buyback scheme. Number two, SRF is there which has come out with a buyback. Number three is Monte Carlo. There are so many companies like this. If you can visit www.bsc.india.com or www.nscindia.com, you just explore buyback. Then you will come to know how many companies have been announcing that they want to buy back their shares of their own companies. And this buyback is done in various forms like open market, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, what does this mean? They are confident about the company's promoters are confident about the future of the company. Number one. Number two, they are even thinking that the value of the share is very low in the current market price, in the market situation, and this is the right time to take back its shares from the market. It indicates that they are having a huge amount of cash reserves from where you purchase back these shares from the common public at large or from the stock market. That is called as open market. And this is possible only when there is a huge amount of profit, and they want to reward the shareholders because they can come out with a buyback of its own share, which and the price could be more than the market price. For example, the market price is 100 rupees, and they are trying to come out with the buyback of its own shares at 150 per share. Means they want to reward another 50 rupees to the shareholders, and it talks about the good corporate governance of the company. Next one is another particular phenomenon which you have to look into consideration before investing into the company shares is bonus of the company, bonus track record of the company. So, what do I mean by bonus? Bonus is nothing but for every share, some amount of shares are declared as a bonus. For example, 1:1 means what? For every one share held by you, you will get one share. For example, 2:1. 2:1 means if you are holding one share in the company, you are going to get two shares. For example, 1:2. For every two shares held by you, the company is going to declare a bonus of one share. For example, 4:3 means for every three shares held by you, the company is going to declare a bonus of four shares. Now you will now ask me, sir, from where the bonus is going to be declared? The bonus is nothing. Bonus is nothing but bonus of shares. They are not paid in the form of cash. Rather, you are getting extra shares for the shares what you are holding currently. Number one. Number two is bonus shares are formed because of capitalization of reserves and surplus. Capitalization of reserves and surplus. Capitalization of reserves and surplus. Now, if you look at the company's balance sheet on the right side, on the liability side of balance sheet, on the liability side of balance sheet, if you look at the balance sheet liability side, the first two elements are very, very important. From where we come to know that how the bonus is calculated or how the reserves and surplus are capitalized and converted into shares. For example, I will just give a small example. Equity share capital is 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each, and reserves is some 50 lakh rupees. So out of this 50 lakh rupees, bonus is declared. Bonus of declared for one. Number two, and it is this much. For example, is used for taking a bonus. This 3 lakh is capitalized and gets added to equity share capital. So this is a simple way of understanding bonus per share. So there are so many companies which are there listed on the stock market which have been rewarding shareholders in the form of beautiful dividends. For example, Wipro. Number one or two is Andhra Sugar. Andhra Sugar, HPCL. Number three is HPCL, and many others. So if you want to get an understanding about what is the bonus declared by these companies, you have to visit the company's websites. For example, moneycontrol.com. Moneycontrol.com is the is a famous website on which you can get control.com is a famous website on which you can get what is the bonus they have paid by the individual companies like Wipro, Andhra Sugar, HPCL Limited, so on and so forth. So bonus is nothing but capitalization of its own share, reserves and surplus. Next one is very important. Is see companies are of many types. Many types. Some companies are very venturous companies, I will call it, and the other ones are consistently growing companies. Consistently growing companies. Now, what do you mean by consistently growing companies? They are venturous. So venturous means what? Venturous means venturous means they have made a profit of 1,000 crores during the year, for example, and out of this they have declared 200 crores as dividend. 200 crores they have used for repaying the loan, and they got 600 crores to their disposal, and they have invested in new factory or they have invested in the new factory, new project, which can be diversified or unrelated or related businesses. For example, Reliance Industries was primarily into petroleum. Now it's into retail, it's into telecommunication. They have ventured their businesses into so many unrelated projects. So if a company is coming out with a new capital budgeting schemes, we call it, or investment scheme, this company is told to be a very good company because of the following reasons. Following reasons. Okay, the reasons are like this. Because of this capital budgeting scheme, wherein they want to invest in new projects, new factories, they are moving out. They are opening their projects in across the. Because of this, what is happening in the next 4 3 years after the project is commissioned, there is a incremental sales which is going to take place. Incremental sales which is going to take place. Number one. Number two is because of this incremental sales. Because of this incremental sales. Because of this incremental sales, there is a there is a probability that there is a incremental profit. For incremental profit is, for example, last year it was 100 crores, and because of incremental sales, the profit will be increased to 20 crores. The total profit will increase to 120 crores. So increment is 20 crores, and this also will earnings per share, incremental dividend per share, incremental return on investment, and of all these factors, the market price will and shareholders will be in the form of wealth management. So examples are so many. For examples, Navin Flooring, and SRF are beautiful companies uh, which can be taken for our example purpose. These companies were making profit, and they retained a part of the profit and invested this in new projects. And because of this, after 3 4 years, the company's sales have doubled, the company's profits have doubled, and the company's earnings per share have doubled. The company's dividend has also increased, and the market will be positively affected, and the shareholders' return also will increase. One is another factor you have to look at consideration is promoters equity share pledging. So there are some shareholders, there are some promoters of the company who are pledging their and non-financial options and non-banking financial corporation and banks. So banks. So please, my out of my experience, I can share that element of caution is caution. You have to exercise element of caution if the company's promoters are pledging their shares, and the pledge if they are pledging a high percentage of their stake with the banks and non-banking financial companies, then the company is very risky company for investment. On the other contrarian, if the owners of the company are pledging their shares is very low, then they are very confident about the company's business model and other aspects, and they don't want to part with the equity share capital or equity stake of the company. They are having so much of confidence. Next one, another aspect which you have to look into consideration is is low equity capital. A company with a low equity capital is considered to be a very good company for investment. Why? Because I will give a small example. A and B, they are in the same business, they are in the same sector, they are in the same sector. But what is happening? Their equity share capital base is very low. One is very low and one is very high. In the sense that here the equity share capital is 30 crores and here it is 3,500 crores. Now let's see. This company has a sales of the company has sales of 30,000 crores. Assuming, okay, please assume all these are assumptions. Here 30,000 crores. So uh, on an investment of 30 crores, the company is registering a sales of 30,000 crores, which is almost 1,000 times. 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Here is only uh, 10 times or 8 times. Number one. So sales to equity share capital or sales to investment is like this. Number one. Number two, on this 30,000 crores of sales, the margin is 10%. The margin is 10%, that is 3,000 crores. 3,000 crores. Here, the same margin I will consider 10%, 3,000 crores. So both of them are very good as far as net profit margin is concerned. Net profit margin is concerned. Now, the most important element which I want to calculate is earnings per share. Earnings per share is this divided by number of shares. That is face value. Assume it is 10 crores. Here it is 10 crores. So it is 10 crores. So here the earnings per share is 1,000 is here 3,000 divided by 350 is equal to 300 rupees. So company low equity capital, registering good of sales, registering amount of profit, is registering good amount of earnings per share, and this company is in a formidable position to declare a good dividend. Whereas in this case, the company earnings per share is only 8 rupees because of the simple reason that the equity share capital is very high. So this is what I mean to say when I'm talking about equity base should be there. Low equity base should be there. So with this, let's understand the points and discuss about this. All these points which I'm discussing is the example which I have given. And they are written in the form of points. You can please see it yourself and understand it. Okay. So the point of the point more in this case the way company it was 1,000 times. Sales and profit margin be greater at 15%. In this case, it was 10%. And because of this, what has happened? The earnings per share of this company, which was having low equity share capital, is very high. And eventually, the company is having a good amount of dividend paid. Next one is, let's take some case studies for our example and let's understand them. So in this case, I'm talking about the company is Wipro. Okay. Now let's see how the company has declared bonus and dividend over the last 50 years. So about long-term investment to maximization, because my intention of this particular session is manifold, and one of them is long-term investment, and wealth maximization. And wealth maximization. So this is the URL of the from where you can get the information like what is the over period of time. So if you look at this, there is you can see for yourself that this company, which is Wipro, has declared a bonus like this over a period of several years, ranging from 1987, ranging from 1987 to ranging from 1987 to 1971, from 1971 to till today 2020. So all these years, as the reserves and surpluses are increasing, as the profit is increasing, and as the retained profits are increasing, the company is able to convert, declare bonuses from year to year. And a guy who was having 3 shares was rewarded with 1 share. and so he got 4 shares now. Now here when he got 4 shares, company has declared 1:1. So for every 1 share, 4 shares, 8 he got. Now got 60 here. Here he got 32. Here he got 64. Here he got 128 number of shares with him. 256. Here for one share he has got 2 shares. Means 256 plus 256 plus 256 is equal to 718. So like this, if you calculate, and it's very difficult to understand uh, how many shares were there at him with him. If we would have invested in 1971, it could have been some 4,000 shares or 5,000 shares into market price plus dividend. This is the wealth they have generated for the shareholders over a period of time. And even there is a split of share also which has taken place. Please remember, split of share is, for example, 10 rupees is a face value. It has been split to 1 rupee, means the number of shares also are going to increase by 10 times. So if you calculate like this, so dividend per share over several 40 years plus bonus over several years bonus plus stock split into market price. This is the wealth maximization. Now let's look at HPCL also, which has declared a beautiful dividend over a period of time. So here I'm talking about bonus. Here I'm talking about the company which is HPCL in example, how they have rewarded the shareholders of the company in the form of dividend. So now the point is that based upon the previous data, you should take a call. If the company's stock is available in the market at a reasonably low price, then based upon the previous data or historical data, you can look at the previous or historical data and take and call whether to be whether the share is, whether to invest in this share or not. Okay. For example, right from the data in moneycontrol.com is from 2000. So for this purpose, I have data from 2000. So every year, so they have declared a good amount of dividend, and the dividend runs into hundreds of rupees, and the person who has invested in 2000 has already recovered all the amount what he has invested in the year 2000. So for example, if he has purchased for 100 rupees in the year 2000, now if you calculate all this, if you total all this, probably it is 200 rupees. Means what? If he has invested in the share of this company at 100 rupees, over a period of 20 years, he has got back his amount, and now the investment is zero, but he has earned a profit of 100 rupees, plus the market price might have increased, and the company might have declared a bonus also, and even the stock might have split also. So this is the way, looking at the historical data, you can understand whether the company is available at a at a really reasonable price or a very low price at which you can procure these particular shares from the open market. Next one is another company is there. Another company is there. I will just give a thorough understanding about VST Industries. VST Industries. VST Industries, the website or the URL, you can take a note and you can explore a detail about VST. So this company market price in the year 2010. The market price of this particular very beautiful concept I'm going to tell you at this point of time. Please listen to me carefully. In the year 2010 or 11, 12, the market price of the share was 300 rupees. Today, the market price is around 4,500 on the day when I'm uploading this video or developing this video. That is on 24th August 2020. The market price is 4,500. Means what? It has increased by 15 times. 15 times. Number one. Number two, no bonus is declared. But what has happened? Look at this. In the year 2012, the company was declaring a dividend of 30 rupees. 2010, it was declaring a dividend of 30 rupees for example, on 300 rupees. On 300 rupees, the company was declaring a dividend of 30 rupees. So this is the price at which I have entered. Now look at the market, the dividend. The company has declared a dividend of 103 rupees. Means what? Today, if I would have hold this company's shares and kept it in my portfolio on 300 rupees, I am getting back 103 rupees. And over a period of time, from this, I got almost like 500 rupees. Means I got back all my investment, which I've made in the year 2010, and I am running into surplus of 200 rupees plus many more things. So this is the importance of long-term investment. This is the importance of long-term investment. If you sit on the company share for a long period of time, eventually your dividend will be equivalent to the market price at which you have procured some 20 to 30 years back. This has happened with so many companies like Bajaj Auto, Hero Honda, Reliance Industries, Infosys, Satyam, Wipro, to name a few. Now look at this. The company's share value is around 3,500, and the highest was 4,500 before the pandemic corona outbreak. It was 4,500 rupees. It was 4,500 rupees. So long-term investment is nothing but it is a patience we have. We should have patience. We should have thorough understanding about the company's business module, and we should have confidence about the company. Confidence about the company, and you have to look at the past data, how the company has been doing. Next one is another example I'm giving related. So look at this particular chart. From this chart you will come to know the market price was around 53 rupees in the year 2000. Today, just now I showed the slide 2020, it was 3500. So it is 70 times plus dividends. So many dividends. If you total it, dividend runs into some 5 or 600 rupees. So if you would have purchased at 53 rupees, you got back 600 rupees of dividend, and the market price is 3,500. So 3,500 plus 600 rupees dividend over this period is equal to 4,100 rupees dividend per share, and you have invested at 53 rupees. So for 20 years, if you hold, you got 80 times plus this 600 rupees. Also, if you would have reinvested, it runs into some 90 to 100 times. So dividend reinvestment I have not calculated. Please remember. Next one is another example I am taking is the market price of Navin Fluorine. So Navin Fluorine, if you look at the market price, it's the market price was around 71 rupees in the year 2007. Today, today it's around this much, 2,147 plus the company in year 2010 out with a stock split of, if I'm correct, it's 1:5. Okay, means for every one share, you will get 5 shares. Means it is to be multiplied. This has to be multiplied with 5. So it is 10,000, around 10,600, 700 rupees. Plus they have declared dividends like this over a period of so many years. Special dividend also was declared. Here you can look. It was around some 60 rupees or 65 rupees. So a purchase price of 71 rupees with a today's price of 10,600 plus dividends of almost 500 rupees. So the return is exorbitant, I will call it. So exorbitant. The company is is into chemical business, and the chemical business growth uh, is almost 30 or 40 percentage on year basis, and that's the reason why the company sales have doubled, the profit has doubled, the earnings per share has doubled, the dividend also has doubled, and the market price has rised exponentially. So this is the way you have to decipher, you have to understand, you have fathom, you have to take a note of the previous data to make a understanding about the future of this company, of these companies where you want to invest. Another example is there SRF Limited. Now the same company in the year 2020 was around uh, was around 52 rupees, was around 52 rupees. Today, when I'm speaking, it's 4,500 on 24th August 2020, and the company has declared dividends like this. So long-term investments, patience is required. Let's look at another company by name S Bank Limited, and let's see the fortunes of this company. The company market price was available. The market price at which this company was trading in the year 2010 5 was 12 rupees 50 paise, and it went up like this and it touched 600 rupees, and today it's trading around 15 rupees. So This is there are so many reasons for mishap of this kind in this company. Uh, okay, so one of the reasons could be it's a new bank, and I told you that you have to invest into those companies which are very old. So you can also have understanding about the miss corporate governance. There was a negative corporate governance, which eventually hit the investors very hard. Next, another company is there by name Suzlon, and let's understand the balance sheet of the company Suzlon thoroughly. Suzlon, let's understand the company by using debt equity ratio and interest interest payment. Interest income is different and interest payment is different. This is a headache, we call it. Now look at the company balance profit and loss account. Look at the profit and loss account of this company. The profit and loss account of this company shows that in the year 2016 the sales were 10,000 rupees approximately, and it has fallen down to 3,000 rupees in the year 2020. These are all from the URL which I just now showed. The interest, look at the interest. Every year the interest what they have to pay is around 1,300 crores. And because of this, what has happened? Look at this. The ratio of interest, the percentage of interest in sales is almost 50 percentage. And and there are so many other costs like raw material cost, labor cost, factory overheads, second office and administration overheads, selling and distribution overheads, which are eventually eating away the profitability of the company, and the company's performance like this in the year 2016 to 2020 because of one small mistake. What they have done is the interest. So if the company's debt is very high, the interest is very high, and the interest is very high, then it is going to eat away the profitability of the company. And the profitability of this company from 600 crores in the year 2016 has fallen down to my loss of 2700 crores. Profit gaya, loss mein aa gaya. Now, apart from this, even look at the if you want to invest in these companies, look at the shareholding pattern or shareholding promoters holding percentage also. So, if you look very carefully, it is 19%. The shares are held by the shareholders of the promoters of the company, and 18% as of now. And more on top of it, out of this 19%, the pledge is 76%. And FIIs have the holding of FIIs has fallen down from 5% to 3%. So this is very important. They don't have confidence in this company. That's the reason the stake is only 19%. Then let's look at the balance sheet of the company, the liability side of Suzlon, and then let's understand the long-term liability of Suzlon also, because I told you about the debt of the company. Now the equity share is like share capital is like this. The reserves, if you look at the reserves were minus, means this is a accumulated loss of every year. The losses are increasing, and it is increasing, and the reserves are also negative. Return losses are 11,000 crores over investment of 1,000 loss of 11,000 crores. Can you imagine? They have invested 1,000 crores and they made a loss of 11,000 crores till March 2020. So let's look at this. Very important. The 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 loan which the company has taken during these years is 4,000 crores. 4,000 was there in the 2017, and today in the year 2020 it has reduced to 653 crores. So again, you can assume that the company has reduced its liability or loan to the extent of 653 crores, but probably they have sold their assets, some of their assets, and then they have repaid the principal amount to the bank, and then that's the reason why we see that the long-term borrowing has decreased. So the concept of fund flow also is very important. The concept of fund flow, from where the funds are coming, where the funds are going. They have sold assets and whatever is the money which they got garnered from the sale of assets have been used for repayment of loan. So it's a very bad news. Now another example is there. Let's look at another company by name Supreme Industries Limited. So this is a very beautiful company, and it's a very old company. The company's debt also is very low. We'll see this. So this was the price, the sales of this company, and it has almost doubled in the span of 5 years. Number one. Number two, the interest, it has declined, and it's negligible. For example, the amount of interest as a percentage of sales is almost 0.5 percentage. 0.5 is negligible. And the profit, look at the profit. The company's profit has doubled from 2016 to 2020. And during this year, during this period, the company even has declared a stock split of 2 rupees from 10 rupees. For example, if somebody is holding 10 shares, he will get, because of split, 10 divided by 2 is equal to 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. This is the way you have to calculate stock split. Stock split is generally the company declares announces a stock split if the market price is like 4 digits or 5 digits. I will not go into the details of stock split. And look at the bonus. The company's bonus pattern, if you look, it's very good. The company has been declaring the bonus and rewarding the shareholders with extra bonus shares, and it's very good company. And look at the market price. The market price at which it was available was 28 rupees. Today it's almost like 10,000 rupees after stock split and all. Stock split plus bonus, because they have given a bonus during this last 10 years, and they have announced a stock split from 2 to 10 to 5 rupees. Now market price and dividend, we have covered this. SRF Limited, I have covered this, but just to recap it, 4,000 today's market price, and the share was available at a meager 20-30 rupees in the year 2010, and it has increased from 20 rupees to almost 4,500, and they have declared a dividend also. Look at the dividend. Look at the way the dividend has been declared over several periods of time, several periods of years of existence. Market price also has increased dramatically over a period of time. Like from here, it has gone to here like this. So next one is Andhra Sugar, dividend of Andhra Sugar and payback period. You'll see this. Even a company like a uh, unknown company like Andhra Sugar. If you look at the history of this company, the company was formed in the year 1943. From 1943 till 2020, the company has declared a dividend like this. And I don't have, I can't copy it in my slide, so I've just taken it from 2008 onwards. But the company has declared dividend consistently without fail from 1943 till 2020. Now, for assuming that this company's share was available in the year 2011 at 100 rupees. Okay. Now the company has declared a dividend of 20 rupees in the current financial year 2020. Means on a investment of rupees, you are getting every year 20%. Plus, there are other appreciations like appreciation of the market price. Next one is special dividend declared by Navin Florin. If you look in this slide, this slides gives you an understanding about special dividend declared by Navin Florin in the year 2012, which is 66 rupees 50 paise, and the normal dividend also they have declared in that year of 6 rupees 50 paise, and interim dividend was also there, and the declared dividend over the period of time. Next, special dividends of Elentas Beck. So look at this. Look at this. Very, very important. Look at this. Special dividend 550 percentage, 920 percentage, 920 percentage. So if somebody would have invested in this and forgotten, he would have got back what he has invested in this from these dividends, and they have been normally rewarding the shareholders with a good amount of dividend. A special dividend by Clariant Chemicals, very beautiful company. It's into pharmaceutical. It's a pharmaceutical company. It's into chemical manufacturing, and today there is a huge demand for chemicals. And look at this special dividend, exorbitant dividend of 39 rupees. So special dividends. So if you look at these companies which have declared special dividends, then it's worthwhile to be understood. So another company is MRF Limited. MRF Limited is another company by name MRF Limited. The price of this share was assuming in 1970s was 10 rupees. Today it is 61,900. So 6,190 times it has appreciated, and plus dividend plus bonuses and all that stuff you have to take into account for understanding it. So and the bonus they have declared also is like this. So now I am going to give another example of a company called as Balmer and Lari Investments Limited. Now we will see one important concept called as dividend payout ratio. An important concept called as dividend payout ratio. Now, if you look at the uh, if you look at the balance sheet of the company and the ratios which are there on the ratios which are there, all these ratios are the normals which you have in your textbook: earnings per share, dividend per share, operating profit margin, book value per share, reserves and surplus, profitability ratios, operating gross profit, net profit margin, return on net worth, long-term debt to equity, total debt to equity. Now, I'm talking about the most important one is dividend payout ratio. Now, very important. This company has made has declared or has earned has an earnings per share of rupees 37.65 paise. Now the time has come to declare a dividend. Now they have declared a dividend of 36 rupees. So they have earned a profit of 37 rupees 60 paise per share, and they have declared a dividend of 36 rupees per share. It's almost 100% payout. So based on this project, the next year there has been a rhythm at which they are declaring like 90% of the earnings have been declared in the form of dividend. So 90% is the dividend payout ratio. Profit per share have declared of market price is 400. So the intentions are very good. The company wants to declare a huge amount of dividend. Now, another example I will give, a company like called as Vodafone Idea Limited. So we are going to speak about the relationship between debt, interest, the profitability of the company, the earnings per share of the company, the dividend per share of the company, and the returns on investment. So if you have a huge, you will have a huge interest to pay, and because of there will be low profit, and because of this the earnings will decrease. When the earnings per share decreases, the dividend per share decreases. So they are all interconnected. Debt ज़्यादा रहेगा तो interest ज़्यादा होगा तो profitability होगा, profitability कम होगा तो earnings per share कम होगा, earnings per share कम होगा तो dividend per share कम होगा. जब dividend per share कम हो जाएगा, then the shareholders are very annoyed and they are angry about the company's performance, and they will start selling the company's share in the stock market, and thereby the market price of the share also will fall down. Or will this is like they don't fall in the market price will decrease. So look at this example of Vodafone balance sheet of the company. Vodafone's balance sheet. We look at the company's balance sheet. I told you about the low base, the low equity base. The base of this company's equity share capital is 28,000 crores. And out of this, they made a loss of 19,000 crores. Can you imagine you have invested 28,000 crores and you have made a loss of 19,000 crores and your value is 7,000 crores on an investment of 28,000 crores. And this has happened primarily because of this reason. The debt ratio, the debt is very high. 28,000 crores is very, very high. Look at this. The long-term borrowings from shareholders, from shareholders and banks and financial institutions is running to the tune of 1 lakh crores. On 1 lakh crores, you have to pay how much you have to pay? You have to pay, assuming 12% also, 2,000 crores. So the profit and loss account is also there in front of you. From this profit and loss account, we will come to know what is the interest they have been paying. The interest they have been paying is this much, and they're reporting a loss of 20,000 plus crore over a period of year. Now, eventually, it is affecting the dividend paying capacity of the company. The dividend what they have paid has been very nominal, minuscule. I will call it small, 40 paise, 30 paise, 60 paise. So this is because of this reason. High debt, high interest, low profitability, low earnings per share, low dividend per share. So Switzerland also is the same example. The debt is very high, debt is very high, interest is also very high, and eventually there are so many companies which are very good companies because the companies have so many state companies and investment in other companies. Some examples are in front of you. The examples of those companies which have invested in its subsidiaries, Kirloskar Industries, Agro Sugar Limited, Deepak Fertilizers, Dhanashri Ventures, and Next Digital. And I will take a small example for Kirloskar Limited. If you look at the balance sheet of the company of Kirloskar Limited and you look at the investments, so the investments is, look at this, it is in crores. I have not forgotten to rate. It is 5,000 lakhs in 540 crores. Okay, this I have extracted from the balance sheet of the company. Now, look at the investment where they have done. The investments are into Swaraj engines. The investments are into Swaraj engines. Swaraj engines are holding lakh shares. Kirloskar Newman 64 lakh shares. Kirloskar Brothers 1 crore 90 lakh shares. Kirloskar Oil Engines 82 lakh shares, and so on. Value runs into some thousand, some 800. There is increase in the market, the value also will increase. So some of the websites you have to refer for getting the annual report and general financial information of the company is BSE India, NS India, moneycontrol.com, and money.rediff.com. Last but not the least, the last slide of this particular topic is the sale should be increasing, the profit should be increasing, the ROI, returns on investment, should be increasing, the earnings per share should be increasing, the dividend per share will eventually, interest should be less, the assets should increase, and the cost of capital should be low. And then because of all this, the market price will be. Thank you so much. And if any doubts, please contact me.